Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
We're going to be exploring where biology and quantum mechanics kind of intersect.
Oh, wow.
The strange world of viruses.
Yeah, these are really interesting little things.
Yeah, they really are. And, we've got some research here
Okay.
that suggests that they're not just these tiny things that make us sick,
Right.
but they could actually be like keys to unlocking
Yeah,
some of the universe's biggest mysteries.
I like that.
Yeah. So we're going to be diving into 5 mind-blowing factoids about viruses today.
I'm ready.
Are you ready to have your perspective on these tiny giants shifted?
Absolutely. Let's unravel the quantum mystery of viruses.
Okay, so first up, the age-old question. Are viruses even alive?
That's a good question.
This is a debate that's been raging for years.
Right.
And quantum biology might hold the key to unlocking this answer.
Well, and I think the core of this debate really lies in the fact that viruses lack a self-sustaining metabolism. They just can't replicate on their own. They need a host cell to do the heavy lifting.
Right.
That host dependency, I think, makes their classification as living really tricky.
So they're like tiny inert robots until they find a cell to hijack.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, but what I think is really intriguing
Yeah.
is how these robots might be using quantum mechanics to their advantage.
Okay.
And specifically, we're talking about a phenomenon known as quantum tunneling.
Okay. Now you've piqued my curiosity.
Okay.
For those of us who haven't really delved into the quantum realm,
Sure.
what exactly is quantum tunneling?
So imagine you're trying to roll a ball over a hill.
Okay.
In the classical world, you need enough energy to get the ball all the way up and over.
Right.
But in the quantum world, there's a chance that the ball could tunnel right through the hill even without enough energy.
What?
Yeah, it's a mind-boggling concept.
That's wild. So are we saying that viruses are essentially teleporting their way to faster mutations?
That's a very simplified way of putting it, but essentially, yes. The idea is that quantum tunneling might be helping viruses like the flu mutate much faster than we'd expect through traditional mechanisms.
That's incredible. Okay, so how does this tunneling actually work within a virus? What's happening at the molecular level?
Well, it all boils down to DNA, the blueprint of life.
Right.
DNA is made up of these tiny building blocks called nucleotides, arranged in a very specific sequence.
Right.
Any change in the sequence is a mutation, and quantum tunneling might be influencing these changes.
So instead of a ball in a hill, we're talking about.
Protons, subatomic particles, and energy barriers within the DNA molecule.
Okay.
So imagine a proton, like our ball, wanting to move to a different position within the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Classically, it needs enough energy to overcome the barrier.
Right.
But with quantum tunneling, there's a probability that the proton's wave function, think of it as a cloud of possibilities, will extend to the other side of the barrier, allowing it to essentially appear in a new location.
Well, so you're saying that the proton is essentially existing in multiple places at once.
That's the heart of quantum mechanics, the idea that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, and this might be happening within the DNA of viruses, leading to these faster mutations.
That's incredible. So it's not just that viruses are mutating faster, but the very building blocks of their DNA are behaving in ways we wouldn't expect based on classical physics.
Precisely. And if this is happening, it opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for how viruses evolve and interact with their environment.
This has really flipped my understanding of viruses on its head.
Good.
They're not just these simple agents of disease, but potential masters of quantum mechanics.
And their complexity doesn't end there. Let's move on to our next mind-blowing factoid.
Okay.
Giant viruses.
Giant viruses.
These behemoths blur the lines between viruses and microbes, challenging our very definition of what a virus is.
I'm intrigued what makes them so different from the viruses we typically hear about.
Well, these giants are orders of magnitude larger than typical viruses, and they contain significantly more genetic material. Some even possess genes that code for proteins involved in metabolism, a feature we usually associate with cellular life.
So they're not just hijacking cellular machinery, they're carrying some of their own.
Exactly. It's like they're blurring the boundaries between the living and non-living, forcing us to rethink our traditional categories.
This raises another intriguing question. Could these giant viruses offer any clues about the origins of viruses themselves?
That's a question that has the scientific community buzzing.
Yeah.
Some theorize that viruses might be remnants of ancient cellular life that lost their ability to replicate independently.
Okay.
Others propose they represent a separate evolutionary lineage, perhaps arising even before cellular life as we know it.
Wait, are we suggesting viruses were hanging out in the primordial soup, predating the very organisms we evolved from?
There's evidence to support that possibility. Some viral genes predate the last universal common ancestor, or LUCA,
Wow.
the hypothetical organism from which all cellular life on Earth descended.
So viruses might not just be these pesky pathogens. They could hold clues to the very origins of life itself.
It's a captivating concept, especially when you consider their potential mastery of quantum mechanics.
That's right. And on that note, we've got much more to unpack about these fascinating entities. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the deep dive.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
So before the break,
Right?
we were talking about the possibility that some viral genes actually predate cellular life,
Yeah,
which is just a mind-boggling concept.
it is.
I mean, it challenges our understanding of the entire evolutionary timeline. It
Absolutely.
raises so many questions.
It really does. I mean, if viruses were present before the emergence of cellular life, what role did they play in shaping that primordial soup?
Right.
Did they contribute to the development of early life forms?
Yeah.
These are questions that scientists are actively exploring right now.
It's like we've almost underestimated these tiny entities for so long.
We have.
We've been so focused on their disease-causing capabilities. We've overlooked their potential significance in the grand scheme of, life's evolution.
Totally. And I think it's a shift in perspective that's long overdue. You know, viruses aren't just these passive agents of disease. They're active players in this whole evolutionary drama,
Totally.
shaping the diversity of life as we know it.
And speaking of shaping diversity,
Yeah.
our sources also mentioned that, a significant portion of the human genome is made up of remnants of ancient viral infections.
Yeah, that's right. It's estimated that around 8% of the human genome is composed of viral DNA that has become integrated over millions of years.
Hold on, so you're saying that we're part of virus?
In a way, yes. These viral sequences known as endogenous retroviruses
Okay.
have become a permanent part of our genetic heritage, and some scientists even believe that they've played a role in the evolution of important functions like placental development in mammals.
So these ancient viral invaders might have actually contributed to our own evolution.
It's possible.
It seems like the line between us and them is getting blurrier by the minute.
It does. It really highlights the interconnectedness of all life forms and challenges that notion of clear separation between viruses and their hosts.
It also makes you wonder about the role of modern viruses and our ongoing evolution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are they still shaping our species in subtle ways?
They are. Even today, viruses are constantly interacting with our immune systems, driving the evolution of our defenses and potentially influencing other biological processes.
So it's like a constant arms race,
It is.
with viruses evolving new ways to infiltrate our cells.
Yep.
And our bodies adapting to fight back.
And sometimes those interactions can have unexpected consequences.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's evidence suggesting that some viral infections might even trigger beneficial mutations, contributing to the development of new traits.
It's incredible to think that these tiny entities, which we often view as these threats, might actually be driving innovation and diversity in the web of life.
It's a testament to the power of evolution and the complex interplay between different life forms, Yeah. Viruses, despite their simplicity, play a vital role in this intricate dance.
So we've gone from questioning whether viruses are even alive to realizing they might be key players in the evolution of life itself.
It's true. It's a journey of discovery that I think underscores the importance of curiosity and open-mindedness in scientific exploration.
Yeah, and it seems like the more we learn about viruses, the more we realize how much we still don't know.
Absolutely. But one thing's for sure. The world of viruses is full of surprises.
Right.
And it challenges our preconceived notions at every turn.
Well, on that note, we've covered a lot of ground today, from quantum tunneling to giant viruses to the profound impact of viruses on evolution.
And we've only just begun to scratch the surface of this fascinating field.
But before we wrap up, there's one more mind-boggling aspect of viruses that I want to touch on.
Okay, I'm all ears. What else have these tiny entities been hiding from us?
This is where things get really interesting. Some scientists believe that viruses might not just be influencing biological evolution, they might be playing a role in the evolution of the universe itself.
Whoa, 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 that's a bold claim.
It is.
How could these microscopic entities possibly influence something as vast and complex as the universe?
It all comes down to this fascinating concept called panspermia.
Okay.
It's the idea that life, or at least the building blocks of life, didn't originate on Earth, but were brought here from elsewhere in the universe.
Okay.
Perhaps carried by comets or asteroids.
I've heard of panspermia, but I always thought it was kind of a fringe theory. Is there any evidence to support it?
There's no definitive proof, but there are some intriguing clues. Like, for example, scientists have found organic molecules, the building blocks of life,
Right.
in meteorites that have fallen to Earth.
That's interesting, but it doesn't necessarily prove that those molecules came from living organisms, does it?
True, but here's where viruses come in.
Okay.
Some scientists believe that viruses, with their ability to survive in these really harsh environments and their remarkable resilience,
Yeah.
could be the perfect vehicles for transporting life across vast cosmic distances.
So you're saying that viruses could be like tiny spaceships
Yeah.
carrying the seeds of life from one planet to another?
It's a fascinating possibility, isn't it? Imagine viruses hitching a ride on a comet, traveling through the vastness of space, and eventually landing on a planet with the right conditions for life to take hold.
Yeah, it would mean that life as we know it might not be a uniquely earthly phenomenon, but could be spread throughout the cosmos, carried by these tiny, resilient travelers.
And if viruses are capable of surviving such journeys, what else might they be capable of?
Yeah.
Could they be playing a role in shaping the evolution of life on other planets?
Yeah.
Could they be the key to understanding the origins of life itself, not just on Earth, but throughout the universe?
Those are questions that are sure to keep scientists busy for generations to come.
I think so.
It seems like we've only just begun to glimpse the true potential of these enigmatic entities.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the world of viruses. We've covered a lot of ground today, from their quantum shenanigans to their potential role in cosmic evolution.
It's been a fascinating journey,
It really has.
filled with mind-bending concepts and thought-provoking questions.
Absolutely. We've explored the quantum realm, delved into the depths of evolution, and even contemplated the possibility of life beyond Earth.
Right, and through it all, viruses have served as our guides,
Yeah.
revealing the interconnectedness of all things
Yeah.
and the endless potential for discovery in the universe.
So to our listeners, we'll leave you with this final thought. Never underestimate the power of the small I. The tiniest entities can hold the biggest secrets and the most profound truths about the universe we inhabit.
It's true. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an eye out for those tiny wonders that might just change our understanding of the world.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the quantum mystery of viruses. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Yeah, it really is incredible to think that something so small could hold such immense power and potential.
I know it's kind of a testament to the fact that size isn't everything in the universe.
Right.
Sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest impact. Absolutely. And in the case of viruses, that impact extends far beyond just, causing the common cold or the flu.
Oh, for sure. We've seen how they've shaped the evolution of life on Earth, potentially even played a role in the origins of life itself.
Right. And now we're kind of contemplating the possibility that they might be spreading life throughout the cosmos,
I know.
acting as these tiny cosmic gardeners.
It's a really awe-inspiring thought.
It is.
It makes you realize how much we still have to learn about the universe and the interconnectedness of all things.
Yeah, it's a reminder to stay humble, I think, in the face of the unknown, and to always be open to new discoveries.
Totally, because the universe is full of surprises, and often the most unexpected places hold the greatest wonders.
Well said.
Huh?
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of viruses.
It's been a fascinating journey,
It has.
filled with mind-bending concepts and thought-provoking questions.
We've explored the quantum realm, we delved into the depths of evolution, and even contemplated the possibility of life beyond Earth.
And through it all, viruses have served as our guides, revealing the interconnectedness of all things and the endless potential for discovery in the universe.
So to our listener, we leave you with this final thought. Never underestimate the power of the small store. The tiniest entities can hold the biggest secrets and the most profound truths about the universe we inhabit.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an eye out for those tiny wonders that might just change our understanding of the world.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the quantum mystery of viruses. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.